Wonderful. And to moderate this discussion, it's Kun Napat Kruthai from APCOM, Kun Jimmy, Naka. And joining the panel today, we have three wonderful guests: Kun Cesare, founder of CAN Myanmar; Kun Rosana Flammer Caldera, founder and executive director of Equal Ground in Sri Lanka; and Kun Numan Afifi, programs and advocacy lead from APCOM. So I would like to welcome everyone on stage, please.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And please expect a little bit late lunch for 15 minutes. Okay.
I'll try my best to do not let you have so late lunch. Hi, welcome everyone. And I would say good afternoon, right? Because it's already past 12. But no, I'll try. But I'm sure that this session going to be really interested. So I thought that our panelists gonna have a lot of information to say. So at first, I would like to ask everyone here to just introduce yourself just a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Thank you. First, from Caesar.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Caesar. Full name is So the Mangso. It's too long. So I'm from Myanmar. My organization called CAN Myanmar. Our organization, LGBT-led organization in Myanmar. We're mostly doing about everything same with other LGBT organizations. So thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Rosana Flema Caldera, and I'm the executive director and founder of Equal Ground in Sri Lanka. We are the oldest LGBTIQ organization still operating in my country. And this year, I actually celebrate 25 years of advocacy in Sri Lanka, which I'm very proud of. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Numan Fifi. My English pronoun is he, him. I originally come from Kuala Lumpur, but now I work as a program and advocacy lead at APCOM Foundation. Before joining APCOM, I was the founder of Jajaka, which is a community-based organization for LGBTIQ people in Malaysia.
Okay, thank you everyone. It's really my pleasure to be your moderator today, and everyone has a lot of advocacy and experiences. So I would like to start this conversation with Caesar from Myanmar. Many people don't know that Myanmar still has the old colonial laws that prohibit same-sex acts. Can you share a little bit of LGBTQI life in Myanmar, in a particular what life have been since the military took over? Yeah.
Thank you for the question. And yeah, in Myanmar, we have Pinnacle 377, and it maximum punishment 10 years to be prison and with hard labor. And also we have 35C for the Yangon Police Act. It is targeted for the transgender women, especially for the disguise or something like that. And currently, after took over by the military, it is situation and what I already use about that, the progressive scale. So we use that, not other organization use, or I don't know, but in my organization we use about that, how progressive our region in that level of progressive or something like that. We measured about that progressive in region. So we gave the scale 0 to 10. At the time, we gave the 7 for the Thailand because they are moving forward to toward the marriage equality, and also India to the 6 because they can remove the 377 or something like that. But then our fellow panelists here in that Sri Lanka and Malaysia, it is a little bit challenge to give scale 4 to 3 or something like that because they have to struggle in their legal ways. And we have many friends in there, so I received that kind of information from my friend or something like that. But for us, Myanmar we give -0, not 0, -5. So why? So it is very sadly and very we want progress in 2017 and 2018, we did a lot of progress movement under the democratic era. We did a lot of progressive movement, especially we try to make like equality act or some kind of it called like the anti-discrimination law in Myanmar or something like that. We collaborate with that other 35 organizations together to make that. And also the challenge of after the military coup, and several international reports said over 200 of LGBT people detained and arrested. That's the result. So sometimes we don't want to share. We want to share with that. We want to speak with data, right? So it is only one, how to say, tangible advocacy way to understand people how backward in Myanmar. On the other hand, there's an interesting point. In my organization led like survey. We did a post-coup in saturation of LGBT movement or something like that. In the survey, we found that 32% of the respondent, LGBT respondent, face the arbitrary arrest and torture after coup. And then 52% of LGBT community face domestic violence and discrimination between their family. So it seems like that what we do before, everything now gone. Yeah, that's the real situation. And you may ask about, is it real? You can share any kind of scenarios. Yeah, in 2017 and 2018, we did movement. It looked like Bengal, Thailand, Wadas, Songkran, Wadas Sablat walking movement or something like that. In my country, in my town, Mandalay, we did same thing. Like, but we are wearing like a riot called lady and that prince and princess, and we're doing like that. And at the time, and some young generation people are looking us to, especially to our transgender man and transgender woman brother. But in city area and our community, not LGBT family people, that just ordinary people, just interfere and then they start trying to, stop them. So it's mean like that our public is very open and they start trying to accept our movement as a, it's just like we can measure it as a progress or something like that. After couldn't, I can share the name and the group of the people. Sometimes we say about the military people, the regime in arrest or something like that, but they are really targeted on the sexual diverse community. For example, a transgender woman activist from my hometown, Mandalay, she was 25 years in prison with her liver because of just peacefully, protection. And one member of my organization staff, and also she was 17 years in prison and her liver just only strike, something like that. So that's everything we can share about that, how we are, other country moving forward. For Myanmar that's why we give -5 or something like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. And I can feel that it's very struggle and really hard like after the military coup, but thank you that you're still working, and thank you to your friend also. Okay, then next that we listen some experiences from Myanmar, and then we shall move to Sri Lanka. I'm very surprised because as a majority Buddhist country like Thailand, I think people are surprised to learn that Sri Lanka still had its same-sex prohibition laws. And can you tell us more about this and how you are mobilizing to get rid of this law?
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, we inherited the laws from the British when they, when we were made part of their Commonwealth of Nations, when they basically walked into our country and took it over. But in 1995, it was originally a Buggery Act, between two men. But in 1999, there was a private member's bill to decriminalize, but the justice minister at that time decided it was gender biased, so they took out the word male person and just said any person with another person. So Sri Lanka is one of 40 countries that also criminalizes same-sex relationships amongst women. So lesbians are also criminals in my country. And yes, we are a majority Buddhist country, but unfortunately, the Buddhist clergy is very much involved with politics and are being used by politicians to maybe cultivate certain ideas and ideologies that may not be, right for the country and may not be right where equality is concerned. So therefore, we've been having a really hard time trying to decriminalize, even though this current government has said when they were running for office that they would decriminalize these two laws. It has not happened. There has been a major outcry, especially in social media as well as the mainstream media, by the Catholic cardinal as well as the Mahasangha in Sri Lanka, the Buddhist clergy, the hierarchy, that LGBTIQ persons are against religion, against the nature of, or the culture of Sri Lanka. And this is really a bunch of baloney, because LGBTIQ persons existed long before the British came to Sri Lanka. And nobody had any problem with them. So very much like the courts in India, where there were many people of different sexual orientations and gender identities that were accepted. So unfortunately, these laws, which are British, we are clinging on to like it was the best gift that the British gave us. And as an organization, Equal Ground has been, as I said, it is the oldest organization, and our target has been always to decriminalize. In 2018, I took a case to the UN under the CEDAW treaty body, the Convention to Eliminate All Forms of Discrimination and Violence Against Women. And I stated that the state of Sri Lanka is violating my rights as a woman and as a citizen of Sri Lanka by criminalizing me, and they ruled in my favor. But that was in 2022. It's 2026, 4 years later, and they have done nothing, even though this government came in saying that they would decriminalize. So it's always been, talk. There is this saying, all fart and no shit. That's exactly what's happening there, yeah?
Yeah, it's like, and I heard from this Sri Lanka experience or context, I found that one thing that when we put like too much power in some part, it's not that good way. But the sad thing is when you say like British colonial bring this law to like Myanmar also, to Sri Lanka, to India, but right now they go on, and in British right now is decriminalized, but it's still stuff like let us like have this trouble in our country. It's very sad, right? Yeah. So Numan, from Malaysia, my friend, we have been seeing the news about gay sauna and the other news that if you work too hard, then you'll be like LGBT, right? Can you share a light of what is going on there in Malaysia, please?
Sure. Before I start, of course, on one side, there's criminalization that happened because the law was there enacted by the British, and it became a legacy law through penal code, right? But beyond that, gender diversity, LGBT people, even though it's not called as lesbian or gay, has always been in this region, not Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, has always been part of society. It's just that the law made it people like us look like criminals, right? So in Malaysia, on top of civil law, which criminalizes up to 20 years of imprisonment, our own sitting incumbent prime minister right now has been subjected to the law twice. But on top of the civil law, there's also Sharia law as well at state level. So there's 14 states in Malaysia, all have variations of Sharia law which criminalize same-sex relation. But sometimes there's also customary law, especially within the provinces, which sometimes celebrate gender diversity as well. So it's very complex right now. What happened was in November last year, there was a joint operation by religious authority and the police going into LGBT premises or male sauna. So in Bangkok, we have so many sauna where gay, bisexual men meet and socialize. So, and almost 200 people were caught, and immediately there were video that was released on news and also social media about these people. But this is not an isolated incident. We're seeing more and more arrests. So this year is 200 people. Last year it was 30 people. So we can see that it's becoming more exponentially. We're seeing this trend also in the region. So last year, APCOM with Human Dignity Trust had a global decriminalization convening. I think Rosana was there also last year. And we're seeing the same trend increase, right? So what I'm trying to say here, discrimination, homophobia is not just captured within boundaries of national boundaries, but it's becoming transnational as well. Like what happening in Thailand, what happening in Malaysia, what happening in Indonesia will will spill over to other countries as well. So that's a worrying trend that we're seeing, and that's why we need south to south solidarity, regional solidarity, and not just be subjected to solidarity from global north so much as well. But we need to look into the region as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Numa, for that. Another thing, like the thing that you mentioned is about south to south, like solidarity or religions, religion solidarity, region solidarity. Sorry, region solidarity, and also religions, right? Yeah, it's very good because like we are the same land and same context, and we know each other, like understanding each other like more than to bring like the north ideology to cover us. So thank you for that. So I thought that everyone here like dealing with a hard time for sure. Thank you that you're still working and like advocate for us. So Caesar, how can like Myanmar LGBT communities be supported during this hard time? What do you think?
Thank you again for this current question. For us, I went three then. The first one, you reject military coup, military leadership and regime because we have some kind of scenario I want to share. And you know, Thailand is very famous in violence series. They are global phenomenon. They are dominant in the global entertainment industry, and as a soft power of we proud as a neighboring country. But in my country, when you're writing or publishing about the BL novel or that kind of, you may face 70 to 20 years with hard labor. I think 2025, some group of publishers, they face like that kind of punishment by the military. But recently, military allowed built-in movie, and they already allow the censor, and then they show the national theater as a. It is because they want to share that the national community to be that they are progressive or something like that. And very funny thing is, though other are they are already involved in propaganda activity of the regime. So what I want to share is, if you are a queer activist or queer who want to be a democracy or something like that, your queer story will be end and go into jail, and then whatever artistry you are down for. But if you are in join with the military or the leadership or something like that, you get from encouragement from them. So that kind of strict move to the international community. And then they already did a sham election, and then they made the parliament, and then they already made the Myanmar as a president. So for us, activists from the Myanmar and minority and religion, minority leader of the Myanmar, my first request to the international community is reject them. That is our request. I don't need other support, no paradise like that. And second, it support to the ASI group and the LGBT group in the grassroots and community. What I want to say that because there is a scenario, one scenario is everybody talk about a lot of things about Myanmar, especially in the Rohingya issue or something like that. But within the Rohingya, there is a many sexual and gender diverse community in there, but no one mentioned about that. This is my own experience because before I left to the Thailand, let's say how what the situation is. As my previous job, I have to visit in that Rohingya camp, not only the Burma side, but also Bangladesh side too. So I see a lot of things, and you may never dream about that. And so that's why, and I have strong time with the woman Rohingya activist on the Western country they based, and then one of our friends, she talked about in that one sentence only in the General Assembly, UN General Assembly. She mentioned about the LGBT or something, one word only. But many Rohingya activists attacked her because of using that kind of word. So this is, I want to share our fellow regional community too, that when you are talking about the how to say that solidarity or something like that, you need to not only our LGBT community but also our alliance who are fighting for us. Sometimes they bring the right, the voice of the can't spread the voice or like Rohingya community or something like that. But then the woman leader and the woman activist, you should support them too. This is my second point. That is a direct funding to that kind of people. This is important. If not, we were never alive here, and I can't speak in here there. Thank you.
Thank you, Caesar, for this situation and the thing that you share. So it means like every movement, we need like friends and need to be aligned. Every topic should be support each other. We can't fight out by our own, alone. Yes, of course, thank you for that. And how about from Sri Lanka, what are the challenges and some opportunities that you see Sri Lanka can move toward decriminalization?
So to start off with, you mentioned 377 in Malaysia and India, which meant that the law could be changed by challenging the law within the court system. But in Sri Lanka, we have a savings law clause in our constitution which prohibits us from changing the law or challenging the law to a court of law. So it is an act of parliament that will change the law and decriminalize. So even though this current government has a 2/3 majority, they are not pushing for getting the law turned down or taken off the books. It requires a private members bill which was put forth, I think 2 or 3 years ago, in 2022, as a matter of fact, after the CEDAW case. And it's still there. They have not called for a vote. They have not asked for it to be read in Parliament. So either way, we should know whether you're going to do it or not without just keeping it going like this. So that's their modus operandi, yeah? So it's a little bit difficult for us because we are at the hands of politicians who get swayed by religious sentiment or right-wing sentiment. And when I say right-wing, there is also a growing right-wing, especially after the elections in the United States. So there are so many obstacles. Yeah. So all we can do as an organization, and just the other day, or just this morning, I read something in Facebook, somebody had said, so when are you going to get this decriminalized? And I'm thinking to myself, have you put in 25 years trying to get it decriminalized? It's not as simple as get it decriminalized, yeah? We're at the mercy of the politicians, the government. So it's a very long road where that's concerned. But Equal Ground, my organization, decided that in order for us to be even ready for decriminalization, we should basically reach out and get as many allies and friends, families on board our journey to be supportive of the LGBTIQ community. And I think that it has worked a lot because right now we have the biggest Pride celebration in Sri Lanka last year. And somebody mentioned 200,000 in Amsterdam, I think it was. We had only 2,500 people, and that's a lot for us. So our Pride walk, for example, the first Pride walk took place 3 years ago, and last year was over 100, and we were very happy because at least 100 people came. But it's a very slow journey for us, and most people are very fearful because of the laws. Because a gay man, for example, standing at a bus stand, going home after a late night shift, immediately police come and ask them, what are you doing here? Are you queer? Are you this? Are you that? Show me your wallet. And if they find a condom in it, it's not about safe sex or protection. It's about, you're like that. Take him to the lockup, So it's got all of that. So we've been working with the police. My other colleagues in another organization are also working with the police. And we won a case against the police as well in 2018 for creating a disturbance and putting a person to give a lecture to the police academy saying that LGBTIQ people should be arrested and this and that and the other thing. So we filed a case, we won the case, and the police had to send a circular to all the police stations all over Sri Lanka saying cannot arrest a person for looking gay, being gay, walking like a gay, whatever gay, yeah? You can only arrest if they're having sex in private or in public. So in other words, the police can peep into our bedrooms and arrest us. If we're having sex, yes, in public, which I find creepy, whether it's gay or straight, yeah? Like, why would you want to go and have sex in public? They can be arrested. So the interpretation of the law is very, very important because even when I spent some time in the States and I came back, and I was shocked that, there was a law that criminalized me, well, not me, but criminalized same-sex relationships between men. And I had lived in San Francisco, where you're going with the, which is the most accepting and the most gay city at the time, to come home to this, and I was like really shocked. And that was one of the reasons why I started this organization and went on with this. But when this whole thing backfired in 1999 and it added women onto it as well, it felt like, okay, now we need to jump into this picture and start fighting as well. So I think a lot has changed culturally and within the LGBTIQ community as well, but not everyone is on the same page, obviously. The police are on the same page now, and they've been very helpful where our organization has been concerned and getting, walk permits and stuff like that. But in other parts, in rural areas, there's still a lot of marginalization, bullying, violence against LGBTIQ persons. So, it's a long process, mainly because of the snag in the law.
Thank you, Rosana, for your stories. And I think some kind of, I also fighting 10 years with my mom. You're fighting 25 years. Thank you for that.
I didn't fight with my mom though.
Yeah.
My mom accepted me, thank
goodness.
goodness.
It's good. I'll fight 10 years
but
with
I've been
her.
fighting 25 years with everybody else.
Yeah. But at least, this is our also long story. We know we need to do something because when we left, we could say that we did something, so that the society is moving forward, even it's a little bit, right? Thank you for that. And in Numan, and despite the difficult environment, I guess the community remain resilient. Yes, can you tell us how communities have been able to mobilize in this world?
Sure. I think it's very impressive to see, despite the challenges that the law has put onto our community in the region and in Malaysia, community has come together and then join hands to support each other, to stand up for each other. In November, when the raid happened and 200 gay and bisexual men were arrested, overnight there were calls for volunteers and bailers, and hundreds of people turned out at the police station the next day, and lawyers were there, and then they were identifying who got arrested, and then there were volunteers that call up their partners and their family, letting know that they are supported, and they were there for 72 hours from Friday until Sunday. So it's incredible to see, despite ongoing persecution and oppression by authorities, there are still people and allies stepping up. So that goes to the theme of IDAHOBIT this year, right? It's at the heart of democracy. Yes, we can go to courtroom, we can force the members of parliament to change laws, but it starts at us as community, as members of the public. When listening to these issues, these stories of oppression, when we decided to come to hear the stories and to put up our hands, volunteers, donate to organization, these are manifestation of democracy, and it is a seed where solidarity can happen and changes can happen. I mean, in the case of Malaysia, for example, we have some cases where we put out strategic litigation. We go to federal courts and we won. There were 2 times where we managed to fight against Sharia law in one state, and then the federal court said it is unconstitutional. Yes, we got it. But if the society is still opposing that, there will be backlash, right? So we can't fight against billion-dollar machinery hegemony. We need to change heart and minds. And in order to do that, we have to speak to each other, not to just members of community. We need to speak to our parents. We need to speak to colleagues, to schools, because this is where discrimination happens. So I'm thankful for APCOM, for the Embassy of Netherlands, for Siam Paragon for providing the space for us to have this kind of conversation, because this is where changes start, right? It doesn't happen, 4,000 miles away from here. It happens in the region. It happens close to home. So I think all of us have a hand, a role to play in making these changes happen. It may not take 25 years. It may take 30 years, but it will come. I'm very optimistic. I'm very hopeful that change will come. So I hope all of us can be part of this conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Numan, for that. So it's a long journey for sure. I mean, as we used to be part of this community like long time ago, and then some people just said, it's wrong. Then we need to against them again. No, we are here before you said that. So, but we need to be aligned, as Sisa said about supporting, fighting, Rosana talked about how to change the mindset of the communities, and Numan said about the support starting from us. So at the heart of democracy is the heart of us. It's between us, among us, and we are supporting each other. It's very important to say that. So I think this is time for some Q&A. So from our friend here, or maybe from our friend online. Yes, any question or something to say or something to share? Yes?
good afternoon, the speakers. It has been a very insightful discussion about your scenarios in which actually I'm very aware of that, especially our neighboring countries. Myanmar, we share 2,400 borders, like connections, and also the southern region of Thailand, Malaysia, and also Sri Lanka, that Thailand has been trying to engage in the South Asia through BIMSTEC a lot. So my question here is about, first of all, is about you guys as ASEAN members. What do you expect the ASEAN Intergovernmental Human Rights Council to do more about your issues when the issues on the issues on LGBT has been often silenced by some certain member states, as you may know? I think you guys know which states are. 11 countries. There's not many people. There's some. I think you know it. To do more about your issues. At the same time, for Sri Lanka, and as we have been sharing like a lot of cultural ties between Thailand and Sri Lanka through Buddhism. What do you expect Thailand to show leadership in this in the LGBTQ areas when the Thai government is not brave? I would like to say that it's not brave enough to talk about that publicly in the international stage. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll start first. In ASEAN experience, as what happened after the coup in Myanmar, have shown us that non-interference doesn't work. You know, as Asian people, we need to realize that, yes, sovereignty is important. But at the same time, when it comes to human rights violation, we will be impacted by it, right? Every country in ASEAN will be impacted. Be it issue of immigration, or be it issue of LGBT plus inclusion. I give like one direct example. So I've personally handled so many cases of LGBT Malaysians who try to be in Thailand because there's more freedom here. But you know, there's questions about whether refugees convention, you know, whether they can get asylum here. So it's not just issues because of war-torn country, but it will go beyond that as well. So we need to get real conversation. Of course, there's ASEAN People Forum where civil society can push, but the problem is ministerial foreign affairs still don't look at our recommendations seriously. So I think there's need to be push from voters to make sure that when it comes to foreign policy, we need to do more. We need to look out for neighbors. We consider, you know, member states of ASEAN as siblings, right? We fight from time to time. There are disagreement, but when it comes to fundamental human rights, you know, when it comes to gender identity, when it comes to sexual orientation, this is universal rights, right? So when we should be checked against each other for the betterment of all ASEAN communities. So when there are violations, we're not saying that this country is less or better. It means that, you know, I, as Malaysian, when I see that if there is human rights violation that is happening in Malaysia, right, I would expect that other member states to call us out so that we can improve. Yeah, it is going to be a hard conversation, but that's the cost of being better as society, right? Yes, that's what my perspective, what Thailand can do to answer that question is to have a little bit more courage in those spaces to lead the conversation and to show that by inclusion it's going to benefit the society a lot. So in the upcoming Bangkok Pride, you know, on top of showing how Pride will generate, you know, economic wins, but also shows that by including LGBT people in Thailand, you know, it will also increase well-being, increase mental health, right? So Thailand is already showing that, and it shouldn't be apologetic about it. So I feel like keep doing this, and I think the effect will spill over. Over time, there will be spillover effect to the region. Thank you.
For me, that regarding to answer your question about the currently, and we should shout out of the two countries, Timor and Indonesia, for my country, you know, because currently they lead into some kind of pressure on that ASEAN country, even though ASEAN non-negotiable or whatever, it's not working for me. It is, to be honest, and also. He is very optimistic, but for my perspective, and in the intergovernmental organization level, like some NGO or some, even in this kind of level, they have some kind of autonomy. But when they do an ASEAN level activity, they never try to interact with our people. I have proof. And I can share the name of the organization, but I don't do. But I have proof. I don't shout out if I don't have proof, because that is not good. And you are touring a lot and sharing like that. Sometimes you are always leading to the democracy and inclusion, something blah blah blah. It's good work, but practically, when you are doing it, I not mention the global level. That only in ASEAN level you try to kid off. Even though you know and you recognize us as a political, currently we are very bad in the political situation, but you're not trying to engage with us. I know, because when you are trying to engage with us, you may face currently two government, and so you just trying to maintain the diplomatic way, something like that. It's not good, because there is many people it depends on what your movement or something like that. We deserve what you're doing. So that is my response. The ASEAN should be something really move forward, not just talking about that or something like that. I appreciate that our ASEAN People Forum and group of the people, that's our civil society group, try as much as they can. It looks like some outsiders see we are crazy or something like that. But in reality, it should be, because that reflect and represent in the ground of the real people and real community. So that's my point, and I want to respond. If you are in real ASEAN, we should do like this kind of response, given the example. Yes. Thank you.
Sri Lanka, very complex, very strange form of Buddhism as well. I would basically say that, why 1 minute for me and 20 minutes for them?
2 minutes, okay.
This is misogyny, yeah? I'll make it quick, yeah. It's like this. I'm sure that Thailand doesn't want to dictate terms to Sri Lanka. No matter what wrongs Sri Lanka, which wrong path they are going in. And Sri Lanka, unfortunately, is been going down the wrong path for a very long time now. So I really don't see, the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm pretty sure that the basic tenets of Buddhism are being violated in my country, whereas the Buddhism in Thailand seems to separate religion and philosophy from, the state, which I think is the best thing. No religion or religious groups should be part of advising or pushing government to do anything like we do in Sri Lanka. I think it's wrong. I'm sure a lot of people think it's wrong as well. I'll probably get killed by the time I go home for insulting Buddhism in Sri Lanka. That's not what I mean to do. But certainly religion and politics don't mix. When that happens, we find people who are subjugated, who are criminalized, who are made to feel less than human, and they're tortured and jailed and all kinds of things, even the death penalty in some of the Islamic countries. So it is a very, very wrong thing that religion is involved in politics, and that needs to stop. But unfortunately, the world is spinning at such a fast pace that it's about power and money. It's not about human rights.
Okay, thank you so much, Rosana, for your answer, and everyone, Caesar and Numan. So I know the time is up. Like many people just show me the time, but anyway, did you prepare like the final word for this session? If you prepare, just final words before you leave. Sorry.
Yes, last line. Just to answer the question about what Thailand should do, Thailand should listen to their civil society. So it's not up to me, but listen to what civil society are saying. So that will be my last word.
Last words, I think I've already said the last words, but I just hope, the reason that keeps me going is because I'm optimistic. And then there's a part of me that's very pessimistic as well. But I think at the end of the day, we will eventually reach it, decriminalization, but it's still going to be a long journey. And I just urge all governments who interact with the Sri Lankan government to keep urging the government to decriminalize. Because it must, they have it on their agenda to do that, and they must follow through with it. It's a human rights violation.
Thank you. And for my last word is, I want to go to this year IDAHOBIT theme, like that at the heart of the democracy, a federal democracy in Myanmar must be based on equality from day one. We are not just a victim, we are the pillar of the revolution. So that's why this is my message and my final word to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And please remain on the stage and take the group photo. Right, that was really, really insightful and very inspiring that everyone should work about themselves, work about their communities, families, and their countries' ideologies and practicality in the human rights as well. Thank you very much, Kap.